All right. So here's what we got now, Mike. A little bit different today, everybody. Dr. Mike Shingles is going to be our guest today. One of my very good friends, my doctor. And we're going to talk about some knee issues because he is the knee guy and he's my knee guy. And I've been doing some things that I haven't even told Mike about what I've been doing. That's why it's going to be so cool and so spontaneous. And I'm going to add this video when I cut it up, Mike. I'm going to add it to this exercise video that I've been practicing all of these moves, and it's been a gradual thing, but we'll talk about that in a second here. So be ready, everybody, because what I do now, Mike, is I cut these, like I'll cut this open out, and then the show, and then I do an excerpt, and then I do the close. So everybody gets little pieces of our episode, and if they like what they're hearing, then they can go listen to the whole thing if they want. So that's sort of the plan. It just makes it easily digestible, and people are getting into more and more of the small chunks. So hey, that's all good. So need you for an hour. Are you good to go?
I'm great.
Cool, man. Cool. Let's minimize this bad boy. Hold on. Video here. Can't see you. Oh, there it is. There we go. Cool. You see me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Turn on your Zoom. Give me a 1, 2, 3, would you please?
1, 2, 3.
Gotcha. Clear as a bell. Here we go. Welcome to the Refirement Zone, everybody. So happy to be bringing you our radio program, podcast / video / whatever the heck we call this thing now. Last week, Desmond Ferguson was here, Moneyball Sports, another Refirement Zone star. I'm going to go cut some video when I get back to Lansing. I'm in the Kimberly studio right now as we speak, as we record this. Desmond Ferguson, Moneyball Sports, gonna share what they've been doing at Moneyball Sports and how the Refirement Zone is happening for Desmond and has happened for him many times as a former professional athlete and college, high school star, all those good things. Guy was super cool. Very, very good guy, and loved having him with me. Today, one of my buds, I got to get his bio up here because it's got so many dang screens going on in this place. It's crazy. Dr. Mike Shingles, orthopedic surgery specialist, graduated from Michigan State University College of Osteopathic Medicine, Go Green, U Sparta U. 1996, he's affiliated with the Sparrow Health System. Congratulations on that one. Office accepts new patients and telehealth appointments. We're going to be talking about all kinds of good things, knee things, family things, fishing things. I don't know where we're going, house building things. I'm just glad to have my bro back in here. Is one of my very good friends. I've known him for 25 years, and he's just a cool guy. He's been, if there's one guy who's been through a lot, it's Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike, welcome back to the radio program. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm doing awesome.
Good, man. So today, as we record this thing, I'm in Kimberly, as I said, at the studio in Kimberly, and you are at your palatial estate up in northern Michigan, or almost palatial. Let's talk about that a little bit. First, let's do the family. How are you? How's the family doing? How is the palatial estate? And then we'll get to the most important thing is, like, how was the fishing today?
Fishing was great. Was on Lake Huron all morning and with some good friends. And this is a good year for fishing. If you like fishing, get out to Lake Huron, because every few years you just have a fury of fish. And this year we're having a lot of success.
My my son-in-law and his brother took some pictures on his birthday, from over here in Wisconsin. He was out on Lake Michigan. He had some pictures of these. I mean, these things were massive, everybody. I mean, I don't know what the heck they are. Salmon, I guess, maybe, but they're really, really big fish. And they're having some luck over there too.
Yeah. No, there's nothing. It's a great state we live in. Plenty of things to do outside, and one of them is fishing and just being on Lake Huron or whatever lake. There's so many lakes in Michigan. There's so many great places to live in this state. And this is, of course, the best time of the year. These June, July, August, September, early fall, just wonderful state to live in.
So let's talk about some downtime with you as a doc and all of the you guys are under so much pressure with your work and jobs and all of those kinds of things. When you get this downtime like this, Mike, how how important is it to you in your life to have these moments, these periods where you have that sweet spot up there? Let's talk about that. How important is it to people's health?
Well, I think it's really, really important. I don't think as physicians talk about physician burnout all the time, and I'll never burn out. I can handle it. I can handle it, and you don't realize the amount of hours and time you put into your profession, which is very important to all of us. And to me, it meant, other than my family, it meant everything. When I was at Michigan State for 22 years taking care of athletics, I put my heart and soul into it, and I don't regret a minute of it, although there were some ups and downs of that tenure. But working with great coaches and being part of the success that Michigan State had, it was addicting. It's like, but when an MSU athlete called, I mean, it didn't matter if it was the weekend, evening, we were there on Johnny on the spot. I mean, we provided the best care possible, which Michigan State does for those athletes, and we get them in surgery within the day. We make phone calls, and that was part of us being part of a Division I program, and I loved a lot of that, working with athletics especially, and it was hard to leave that. But for me, that first, I've had this cottage for 16 years, is the best investment I ever made, because it's basically there's sports in July, after baseball is over. I mean, June, July is your 2 months that you got your weekends. You can go up north, and for my family and I, that was huge. So this is where we went. This is where we got away and got peace. Come August, you get 2 days of football. I mean, it starts all over. So it's a really abbreviated summer. And then it's nonstop from fall through the next spring. You're going nonstop. You work every weekend. You're taking care of coverage, or seeing athletes, or doing call, or so this cottage was probably helped me get through it. And now that I'm not at Michigan State anymore, I didn't, which was hard. It was very hard to leave such a great athletic program and great teams and great coaches. It was really hard. Probably one of the hardest things I've done. But people ask me if I miss it, and I do miss it. I miss being part of that, but you don't realize the other side of life. Like, my barber asked me one day, say, "Hey, Mike, are you still working every weekend?" And I don't work any weekends anymore. I get every weekend off. And at first I was bored. I didn't know what to do. I was like trying to find work. And then I realized it's not all about work. Work's very important. Your career is very important, but you got to take time for other things. You're not as healthy as you think if you're not enjoying the other side of, you work hard and you take time off. And it took me a while to figure that out.
Dr. Mike Shingles are our guest today. Mike, I think I sent you that little clip that Tony Avellino sent to me on Father's Day that, I do my hashtag dad talks, and I'd love to get you to do it too, because you're a dad as well. And he was mentioning during his dad talk that he wants to be more connected to his children, and he almost holds a little bit of regret with that, but that's sort of part of the game with all of that. And as
Yeah.
long as we realize this at some point in our lives, that it's not over, don't live in the regret, just get better. And so, hey, kudos to you for finding that space and understanding that it is not always about work. It's about life and your family. You got a couple of minutes yet here. Talk about your boys and your wife and everything. And then we'll continue on and get this thing recorded. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. First of all, Tony's a great guy. And that's one of his big things is physician burnout. And he preaches, try to take care of yourself. And I don't know, he went on that Alaskan fishing trip, and I think fishing in the summer in Augusta is a lot easier. So I'll have to get him out here sometime, but great guy. But I could tell you, ironically, I think COVID, as horrible as that was to go through, and as much problems as that's caused for our country and the world, basically. And the one great thing about COVID was having my three boys at home and my wife, where we were locked down per se, and I was still going to work as a physician, but it really bonded us as a family. And so I got to catch up big time with my kids, because as a surgeon, like Tony and I are both surgeons and neurosurgeon, orthopedics, you're constantly called away. You know, you work holidays, you're not there all the time, and you do spend time with your kids. You try and make it worthwhile. Here for me, it was the cottage. That's 2 months a year. But so COVID really brought us all together. I think I've got a much better relationship. I mean, if you can go through COVID and live with your family and be confined that long, it's either going to get better and it's get worse. And I think for us, it was great bonding.
That's excellent to hear. And yeah, Tony's making some turns and moves in his life, and it's a really wonderful thing to be a part of. And again, our group of friends that we have throughout I miss the university too, Mike. And I'm going to carry this through to break, because we're going to be coming up on this here quickly. But you and I, that's where we met, was on the sidelines of football, and became very close. And we did all those road trips with the team. And as a support person, you know, we each have our roles, and everybody feels the need that to support the program. And I don't think the public really understands. We can talk about this more when we come back from break, everybody, but I don't think that everybody understands how many people, how much time it takes, how much energy it takes. It's like moving a small army back and forth all over the place. Let me reset. We're going to go to break here. Doc Shingles is here. Dr. Mike Shingles. Let's discuss knee issues with my friend. He has operated on me. He has helped me, and we're going to get some tips on knee replacement, knee issues, leg issues, lower body mobility. I'm Tom Mann. Doc Shingles is here. Mike Shingles, my bud. We'll be right back. All right. Here we go. Oh, we got to get the Craig read. Craig. My man, Craig, stop. Here we go.
You have too much background?
No,
Okay.
no, it's fine. I heard the seagulls. It was kind of cool. That's fine. Totally good.
I'll tell you, eventually I got this little room in my cottage that just sits outside of we have a bathroom attached to our master bedroom upstairs. And then in the bathroom, there's a door that goes out to, I don't know, this indoor, 4-season room that's got a perfect view of every direction, because it projects us from the house.
Hold on. I'm gonna ask you about this, because this is the setup for this work-life balance thing. And so your vision, just hold that thought, because that's good stuff. Hold on. Here we go. Segment 2 of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by our buddy Craig Stiles. Craig. Help you plan for the life you want today and well into the future with the right financial advisor. Craig Stiles is our guy. Life can be brilliant, and life is brilliant. I'm telling you guys right now, life is great. And we're just doing more and more things that we planned on doing, and we want to continue to help all of you. That's why Doc Shingles is on today. Call Craig, 1-800-528-1355, 1-800-528-1355. His offices are located at 2400 Lake Lansing Road, Suite B is in B-ism, Lansing, Michigan, 48912. Local number 517-483-4893. His email is craig.stiles@ampf.com. Guy's the best. I mean, he's just awesome. He created Decidary Analytics. If you haven't heard of Decidary, one of the reasons that we have all of our retirement zone savings with Craig is because I don't want to have to worry about this stuff. He's our financial fitness guru, just like Brock is our reality of real estate. We got Doc Shingles here talking about, knees and orthopedic stuff. We got all these great experts, and we're carried on all these radio stations, have been, will be. First off, Michigan Talk Network's got us, but WGHM was the very first station on the lakeshore of Lake Michigan. 92.1, carrying us on Saturday mornings. Wonderful. Awesome spot. Check it out. Go over there. WGIM 1240 AM, Lansing, Michigan, the flagship of the Michigan Talk Network. WJRW 1340 AM in Grand Rapids. Carried us for a long time. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon, WYPV FM 94.5 Mackinac City. WKAR AM 870 News Talk at Michigan State University. These stations carry us, have carried us, did carry us, will carry us. The Michigan Talk Network radio, I've talked about radio. Radio is crazy. I mean, broadcast radio is still awesome. I'm glad that they're going to keep AM around and they're going to put AM radio, make it like it's supposed to be in these EV vehicles, because without AM radio, it's just not the same. Any station I didn't mention, hit me up. Contact box, tommattshow.com. Again, thank you to Craig Stiles for creating Decedary Analytics. Want to plug the Michigan Talk Network. Steve and Ivy Gruber, always thank them for having the faith to put us on their syndication. Wonderful to be syndicated all over the Midwest. We have 4 books on Amazon. You can go check those out, and just got a bunch of Maximize books in and sending them out to younger people. Mike, I got this, our Maximize book that I wrote 11 years ago now. I've sent them out to, just got a new batch in, and lately been sending them to younger people again, and they're just eating it up. It's all of the information still good, even though I had a lot of boomer stuff in there. It's still working out and working well. Tell us a little bit. During break, you were kind of started to talk the story of the cottage, and we didn't really get into much of the family life with you. Got plenty of time to talk about all these things. Describe the new house, because you were talking about your spot, and like the listeners to hear your dream that you're building, because you're going through a lot and COVID pushed everything back for sure. Talk about your dream house up there in northern Michigan, please.
We're in Augrey, Michigan, which is nice. It's on the sunrise side, near Huron, the bay. And no, we did rebuild on our cottages built in like 1940, and we had always planned on doing it. We never got around to it, so this is sort of where we're gonna somewhat retire. I'm not gonna be up here full year, but yeah, it's just very relaxing. And I got to design a room the way I got Friday meetings, that if I come up Thursday night, I can do my meetings and sit there and look at the lake while I'm doing my Zoom meetings and taking care of business, which is just a lot more relaxing than sitting in a meeting.
For sure. It's just, and all the design that went into what you're describing is greatness. Let's get down and dirty about the knee issues. Now, I want to remind you, because you probably don't remember, you may remember this. You're pretty good with memory on your patients. 2 years ago, after we got back from Florida, I called you and I said, I think it's time, Mike. It's time for me to have that knee replacement. And you basically said, no. And you started to go into the appliance. You said you just got to work around some things. And you know what? Since then, I've had the prescription for the Celebrex, which I'm doing maybe 1 a month now. The programs that I've been working on as a trainer and trying to figure things out, it's working, Mike. And I haven't even discussed this with you at all, but I appreciate that you were very honest with me 2 years ago and said, you're not ready. You're too young for this thing. I know you too well. So you advised me in the correct way. So let's start right there at the beginning for people that are listening new to the show, perhaps new to you, and they're having some issues with knees, and you're a knee specialist. So that conversation that I just mentioned, can you kind of elaborate on just a patient in general, or me, whatever you'd like to talk about? Because I've got some things I'm going to share with you throughout the show that I'm doing, but that first setup, can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, I mean, with total knee replacements, first of all, it's a great surgery. It's the reason I went into orthopedics, was I wanted to do total knee replacements, which ironically, I don't do a whole lot of, I don't do any total knee replacements. I did one the other day. Patient really wanted me to be involved, so I got one of our total joint guys over at Sparrow, and 2 of us did this patient's total knee. Wonderful patient. And regardless, that's why I went into it. And then I went to the sports side, and I did total knee replacements at first, but I got too busy with the sports. And so basically I see a ton of arthritis. I see a lot of patients like yourself. I'll use my fishing buddy. I always use him. I fished with him today. It's good seeing him, but he golfs, he fishes, he played pickleball. He gave up pickleball, but his knees were killing him. And like a lot of people with arthritis, it can just really bother you. But there's other things that can cause the pain, like meniscal tears, other issues. And sometimes a simple scope can clean those up. But with arthritis, it's almost mind over matter. It's ignoring the arthritis. Some people have bone-on-bone arthritis, and they have zero pain, and other people can have a little bit of arthritis, can be really hurt. And it's not a matter of toughness. It's just a matter of how their body perceives the pain. And it go, and as I'm getting older, I know what they're talking about. I mean, I ache every day, and arthritis is frustrating, but we don't have the fix for arthritis is taking out the arthritis, which is basically taking out some bone and replacing it with metal and plastic, basically. So you really can't fix the cartilage. You got to just replace it. So everything else for treatment of arthritis is treating the symptoms. And that's both physical and mental. And mental is not one of the things you can't trick yourself to ignoring it. You just got to find that thing that turns it off. And then you got to ride that wave as long as you can. So I gave my fishing buddy today, he brought that up on the boat today. He's like, you know what? 3 years ago, he was signed up for a total joint replacement by a buddy of mine in town. And we were fishing. He's like, my knees feel a lot better. I'm like, you're not getting your total knee replacement. And my buddy who's a total joint surgeon, same thing. It's like, you're not hurting. You only get the knee replacement if you're so miserable, you just can't do it anymore. And you're sick of it. And you're not doing all those things. And so that's when and you failed all the other stuff. And so the point with him is, he wrote it out a little bit because it was summer. He wanted to golf, and we tried we tried cortisone shots, we tried visco supplementation, which is a series of hyaluronic acid, and then boom, it's been 3 years. His knees feel great. He golfs every day, and it's not a problem. His arthritis is worse today than it was 3 years ago. It hasn't got better. He's just not having that pain, and so that's the treatment. Is just getting rid of the pain.
Hold that thought, because I want to come back to that. That's a great jumping off spot. We're going to break. Dr. Mike Shingles is with us, calling this one, Let's Discuss Knee Issues. I have been very open again about my knee issues, and I love what Mike's saying. It can be a mind over matter thing. I'm working on a lot of flexibility issues. There's just, it varies. Everything varies. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. Doc Shingles is here. Let's discuss knee issues. Tom Matt Show. Love doing stuff like this. So, and I haven't told you anything about anything, and it's going to be fresh, and there's something that maybe it just was in my head, but let me get this started, and I'll just jump right in and share with you what I've done. And thank you for that story. That was good.
I like your, do you got that patent to your Tom Matt Show with the peace sign?
Yeah, that's our branding. We had that done 12, 13 years ago, the peace sign. It's all about that retro stuff. The boomers rock, the peace sign, and the boomer is always been like right in the middle of that logo. That was designed by M3 Marketing in Lansing, and they helped me way on. That was when we were doing that first book, and it just, everything carried together. So yeah, thanks. It's it's a long road, bro.
Dude, it's challenging. It's plus it's changing as you do it, right? I mean,
Well, we're doing so much more video. When you see the show, you'll see the videos, you'll see the clips, and then you get the audio is so much better because we got Mitch Anderson, and we're recording all this too while we talk. We get all this in between stuff. People like watching the whole process of this, the conversational stuff. I do as well. I think it's interesting. But Mitch Anderson's he's taken what Ezra Baker, our former producer, who was greatness and taught me so much, built a great car, and what Mitch has done, because Mitch is an on-air guy too, and he supercharged that car, made us into a race car, as far as I'm concerned, with our audio. And it's just, we take this very, very seriously with the audio stuff, the video too, but the quality that goes to radio stations. That's why we're on all these stations, because they really love our delivery. They love that the show is very consistent, and it's just, you got to be a pro. That's all there is to it. Here we go. The simplest way to connect with the radio show, or us, everybody, website, tommattshow.com. Got the YouTube stuff over there. Believe it or not, we got the TikTok thing going too. And I'm finding the TikTok to be totally different than I thought. I was avoiding it like the plague. I got to give that credit to Doug Resseguy. He's our hunter, non-hunter expert, very, very good friend. And one of my consigliaries, like Dr. Mike Shingles, our guest today. So we're all there. And so whatever is your flavor for social media, hit us up on any of those. I'm Papa T. Just look up Papa T. If you're just on the TikTok, but just go to our website, because we have little windows there that you can just click into. It'll take you right to the site. All of the shows are there, all 12 of the categories there. Our mission is to build an engaged society and team. That's what we're doing. That's why we have people like a Dr. Mike Shingles on, because we want to share good information and connect with all of you through. So all those social media aspects and channels, just go there, send us a note, we'll respond. And we always have the contact box on the website. Had a gentleman today I was talking to in Texas, and he went through all of our stuff and he said, boy, your website's beautiful. It's very pristine, and the YouTube channels are designed very, very well. That was all professionally done. I mean, I've learned a lot about teaching myself the video stuff for you guys, for the listeners and for the viewers. But the architecture behind all of our programming is built by pros. I mean, you gotta hire pros. We could talk about it. If you ever need any tips on any of that, I've got a lot of stuff on YouTube now about the business and the podcasting and all of this kind of stuff, writing books. Just check it out. It's all there. All right, back to the show. Dr. Shingles is here. Let's discuss knee issues. So Doc Mike Shingles, very good friend, known him for 25 years. Guy looks great. He's a great doctor at the Sparrow Health System in Lansing. Big time, big time, big time. The guy is huge. And I feel very, very grateful to you, Mike. You mentioned, the meniscus repair you did, where you mentioned that type of surgery. You did that for me years ago. I've had all of those treatments. I've had everything you mentioned, the injections. I had a cortisone once or twice with you. This has been like a 10-year process. I'm an active guy, like you were talking about your fishing buddy, who's an active guy. It's figuring out how we can eliminate this pain. And what I have found, Mike, is I always thought that my knee issues, and again, this might be in my head, and I don't, if it's a placebo, I don't care, because it's working. And as I said, I'm down to 1 Celebrex about a month. But I always thought of it as from my hips down. And as a trainer, I'm continually looking around for this, and I stumbled across some stuff on YouTube, and I've put some videos up about this stuff, and I'm sharing all of this, and I'm going to cut a piece of this out, everybody. So I will put this in my exercise demos that I've been doing. It's not limited to that, but there's some really good things that have been occurring. But Mike, my perception for my issue with my knees at my age at 64 right now is it's a dorsiflexion thing with my ankle and having tight calves. And I think instead of thinking from the hips down, I have been working on from the ankles up and doing a lot more stretching and getting that mobility in there and getting that flexion in my ankle. And it seems to be working. And I'm doing more open groin, deep groins, real slow, really, really slow, light weights. And me, man, I'm in there and I'm working all the time, every day. I'm doing a little bit of something. Some days I do a lot more of something. What's your take on it? You had no idea I was going to discuss this with you, completely out of the blue. So I'm your patient. I've been with you for a long time. What do you think about that? My own little program I've come up with.
You're right on as far as your gait, your function above and below the joints all affect your knees, right? So whether it's your ankles, your knees, your back, core strength so important. Physical therapy is a big part of treating your arthritis for a lot of patients that don't do what you do, right? I mean, you go out and you do it. You do your X-ray, you work out, and you work out your ankles, and you work out your hips, and you work out your knees, and you get your core going. It's very hard to get patients to do that unless they already do it. They're not going to go, here's an exercise sheet, go do it, go to the gym. That's not going to happen. So physical therapy is a rather expensive way, but with great professional physical therapists, especially ones that know what they're doing and they get it and they'll work on those joints. It also keeps you fit and keeps your weight down, which is the only thing that will slow down the progression of arthritis, is keeping your optimal weight. That's the only thing that we've proven will slow down that progression. So keeping your optimal weight by working out and being active. Now, as you get older, you got to be smarter about what you're doing, because I get people that get overuse injuries, even, in their 60s and 70s, because they're doing, our tendons are 60, 70, our cartilage is, so you can't do the same things, but if you've been doing it for a while, it's gonna be a lot easier to continue doing it. So core strength and working on your joints above and below and into the spine are really important for your knees.
That I'm so glad that you said that, because it's like it has been working. And again, like I said, everybody, I have a video with just some very basic exercises that I've been doing. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to take this chunk of the show out, put it on there so that you can get the feedback from Dr. Mike, because he knows my gait. And the thing is, Mike, is I was working it wrong. I mean, I've been a trainer for 14 years now and been very active for a good portion of my life. And it's been an up and down thing. But again, the first thing you said, and the first thing that I knew I had to do, I had to suck it up and I had to say, okay, you're 20 pounds too heavy. I'm 20 pounds too. Now I'm 10 pounds too heavy because I've dropped 10, very slow process. That is helping as well. So in conjunction with the ankle mobility, the calves, got the calves, my gait with the being bow-legged, age, having arthritis, because I do have arthritis, it's working. So the weight loss thing, if I was to advise anyone about what I've done, is the what Mike said is absolutely spot on. Let's talk a little bit more about the weight loss and why that's so important for everyone to understand.
I mean, you've heard my analogy of the treads in your tire.
Yep.
You either can drive a Yugo or a Hummer SUV. You're going to wear the treads out. If you drive it all over the place and on the mountains, you're going to wear the treads out. So, although activity has been shown, I mean, depending, you want activity, but you don't need to overuse your knees either. Cross training as we get older is really helpful. So you're doing some swimming and biking along with running, but the weight is very hard. It's very hard to talk to patients about. I purposely stayed heavy so I could talk to my patients. I always say we all can lose more weight. So I've done it for my patients. I've kept my weight because it's hard to do the exercises. It's hard to do the right things and eat well. That stuff's so important. People are living to be 100, and you can be. I have very active 100-year-olds coming to the office, and I want to be one of those 100 years olds. I want my patients to think with total knee replacements, which is a great surgery. I'm not. People like it's the easy way out. I'll just get the total knee replacement. It's not the easy way out. You get a metal plastic knee. It's great for 9 out of 10 of the people that get it. For 1 out of 10, it's not so great. And then eventually you got to get another one. And, doing those right. I always say if I go back 10 years and tell in this case, my 43-year-old self, lose the weight, because every decade you're carrying that weight, you're getting arthritis in your back, you're getting arthritis in your knees. And so keeping a low weight is very, very important. And it's hard to do, but that should be a priority, and probably isn't in the United States with a lot of patients, and I'm one of them. So I don't criticize my patients. I just try to explain to them. It's like, hey, if you really want to take care of yourself, do what Tom's doing. Tom, you've been working out. You've been trying to get me to work out since we were in the sidelines.
But Mikey, the thing is, and you're not being fair to yourself, because you did lose quite a bit from when you were over at the other place. And so, and I'm very happy for you that way. You saw the thing for you is you guys work so much. Your work-life balance was zip, and you had all those people bringing in all that free food all the time. So you guys are constantly, you're working like 10, 12 hours. And I know a lot of people that can relate to this. You're working 10, 12 hours and you don't really take your breaks. You're not chunking your time well enough. So rather than stop where you can't, because you've got a caseload that's so heavy and you got all that office work that you got to do being a busy doctor, it's just go, 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 go. And again, caregivers, who fills your bucket? I talk about this when I've given live gigs to the big nursing associations and ask them that question. I'm going to carry this through, Mike. We're going to break here. Doc Mike Shingles is here. Let's discuss knee issues. Got more to discuss with knee issues and other things. Love talking to my friends, but Mike Shingles is the best. I'm so glad that we got him. I'm Tom Matt. We'll be right back. Out that
I can give you 3 hours of venting, but I'm that person. I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't
all right.
You.
It's bad space, man. It's okay. Let's go. I'll tell you what, you guys don't know what goes on behind the scenes with this radio program. It's just so much fun, and I love the closeness that I have with our guests. I hope it comes through. We'll start our 13th season, so I think we're doing something right here. We've won a couple of awards thanks to our sponsors. This segment sponsor is, of course, Brock Fletcher. He is just Craig, we are so blessed. When I talk about our sponsors, I share the love about them because we use their services and we want them to be successful because we trust them. Brock is the guy. He's an investment. He's a teacher. He's a leader. He's a community leader. Call him. Couple numbers coming at you guys right now. 517-853-6408. The super secret texting right to his pocket number where you say, Tommy sent me. Please do. Bomb his phone. He loves it. He wants the attention. And I'm not kidding you. He's a good guy. He'll get back to you. 517-303-3262. 303-3262. These guys have been sponsoring us for several years now. And we are so grateful to have them as sponsors because without their help, we can't do this. We can't bring you the video. We can't do all the other things. And if you want to talk to us about the couple of segment sponsors that are available, I don't mess with the commercials. That's not my gig. That's the radio stations. They can do whatever they want with all that. It's the segment sponsors that we really care about. So if you're interested in something like that, like Brock, like Craig, hit us up, but please visit our sponsors because we trust them implicitly. And if we have a relationship with you, we may want to have you on our team. So tryouts are happening. Let me know. TomMattShow.com. And if you got my phone number, send me a message. I'll get right to it. Doc Shingles is here. He's the man. Let's discuss knee issues. All right. So here's how the setup is, everybody, because we have absolutely prepped zero. Mike's been on the show before. Mike, we're going to talk some more about the arthritis thing. I find the arthritis thing very, very informative because I have it. So it's like I'm selfish. And one of the early times you were on the show years and years ago, you did the theater of the mind of the tire and the tread, and you don't put the tread back on the tire. Now today you expanded that. I hadn't heard that before, but let's kind of open that. Let's go back down that road again, paint that for the listeners that just joined us, and then let's carry it through because this is a really important topic because like you said, if you can deal with it, I knew you'd be happy to hear that, it's better because that's what you docs want. You want us to be pain-free as much as possible. So please go right ahead. The analogies of the tires. So, from the tread to the Yugo to the tank, go ahead. It's all you, man.
The dump truck. So no, I mean, you're only given one set of cartilage in your joints and given one set of meniscus for your knees, which is the shock pads basically of your knees. And then the cartilage is the treads of the tire. And when that wears down, then you start getting instead of squeaking and grinding, you get pain and stiffness. And so,
I call it cranky, Mike.
It's cranky and we're all going to get it. No one's immune to it. Meniscus, we do so much meniscal surgeries on people in their 40s and 50s because that's what they get. They start that meniscus, the warranty goes out of that shock pad and it tears. And they're not doing it pickleball, they're walking their dog and they tear their meniscus. And we can clean that up, but it doesn't change the fact you lose that shock pad and then you're less active in the second 50 years of your life than the first 50 years. But still, people are becoming more and more active and they're wanting to extend that longer and longer. And everybody wants to know how. And so there's a lot of money going into biologics right now. What can we inject into your knee to make your cartilage grow back? I mean, that's been ever since I came to orthopedics. That's the whole search for Holy Grail is how we can replace cartilage. We can sequence all the DNA, we can grow it in a lab, but we haven't figured out how to put it back yet. And so you got to be careful with all these opportunities to have biologics injected in these stem cells, PRP. There's lots of different things. And there's a lot of money being made from that because it's hope for patients. And I always tell people when you're looking at treating your knee is like, how much are you paying for it? How much relief are you paying for it? If you're paying, and I tell people ice is the best thing because ice is very inexpensive and most people get a lot of relief from it because it's anti-inflammatory, decreases inflammation to the joint, makes your knee feel better. And so you're paying that much for it and it's good relief. Biologics are up here. You can pay $5,000 for a shot, $10,000 for a shot. You better make sure you're getting the results for that because if you're not, you're basically wasting your money. And that's the problem is it does help some people. We used it with their athletes at Michigan State because it was affordable for the university to provide that for their athletes in some situations. But most of us can't just go out and spend a ton of money on a shot. Um, the you know, Chondroitin sulfate glucosamine, turmeric. There's when people tell you this is a cure for arthritis, it makes me feel so much better. Everybody's different. Like you made the example of, like, for you, it wasn't working from your hips down, it was working from your ankles up. You found that out because you work on it. You're trying to find ways to feel better, and you found that out. For a lot of people, it may be working from their hips down. Chondroitin sulfate glucosamine is a perfect example. You give your dog that chondroitin sulfate glucosamine in their water when they get arthritis, and they're the happiest things in the world. They don't know any difference. So it works in mammals, it works in humans. For a lot of us, it decreases inflammation. But one person will take it, it doesn't do jack, and another person will do it, and it's the best thing ever. And so you just got to find the different things that are out there and be cost efficient on it and do it and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, then all right, it didn't work. Magnets, knee sleeves, acupuncture, you can name it. We don't have a cure. None of these are cures. All they are is treating the symptoms, but there's a lot of things out there that you can try. CBD oil being a newer thing in the last few years. The problem is with CBD oil, it helps a lot of people, but other people it doesn't help. So don't just keep taking it just because someone told you it's good for you. Take it because you get a relief out of it.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing. And I knew you'd be happy to hear that. It's just continue and as you say, everybody's different, and it's like the tire getting wore off the tread. I got to ask you a question. We got about 4 minutes before we go to break. One thing I've noticed for me, and I talked to a guy once when we were on our latest road trip out west this past January, February, sitting. And sitting, it seems like, causes the tightness. And what I've discovered is if I do a couple little stretches before I get up and walk, we make that road trip. You make that road trip to Au Gres, which I know very well. And we make the road trip to Wisconsin, which is 6-7 hours in the car. And I'll tell you what, man, doing all this computer work and all this editing and all of that, and then the driving and that, the sitting is a kiss of death. Why is that?
It's called theater sign, named after this pastime in the United States of going to the movie theater and sitting during a movie, because nobody does that anymore. It's unfortunate that's lost from COVID. But sitting in a theater, I call it Breslin sign, sitting in those tight seats at Breslin with your knees flexed, driving in a car. Usually it causes anterior knee pain. And when you get from the sitting to the standing position, 30% of your body weight, again, body weight, keeping your weight down, 30% of your body weight go across the patellofemoral joint, the kneecap joint. So tracking of your kneecap, if there's arthritis there, you're going to notice it more when you go up and down the stairs, when you squat, and when you sit for long periods of time and get out of a chair. And that stiffness, which is extremely common, and then even painful for some people, is really it's a mechanical thing, and so you do the core strength in the quads. That's one thing that physical therapy and strengthening and core strength is really, really important for. When you have that problem, you can tremendously help it.
That's the whole thing that I found now. And I was going to mention to Mike that I found a deep groin exercise, which I do have a video up, everybody. And I'm cutting this stuff and using myself as my own guinea pig. So you can see what I'm doing, if it's working or if it's not working. So you could just take it for whatever it's worth. If it's helping, and I'll tell you if it's helping or not, but the deep opening of the groin. And I was amazed, Mike, that it was really quick. And then the other thing that I found, and I'm going to carry this through, we can come back in the fifth segment and talk a little more about this, was the heel wedges. They call them foot docks, but they're heel wedges for the squatting. And that has changed that angle. Dude, those things have been so I did another review for this thing, you guys. I carry them to the gym now, kind of a pain in the butt because they're kind of heavy, but they're rubber blocks that are angled, and there's 4 different angles you could have. So it's very, very effective. So I'm going to reset this thing. Doc Shingles is here. Mike Shingles, my doctor, my friend, known him for 25 years at the university. Great guy. Let's discuss knee issues. We come back. I'm going to throw the question of the fifth segment to my friend. And if you missed the fifth segment on the broadcast side, please, please, please go to the podcast and pick it up because these are really popular. Or you can just go to YouTube and you can go to the RFZ channel and you can get the video clip of his messages. I always cut that segment out for you to have. So be aware of that. Doc Mike Shingles here. I'm Tom Matt. Let's discuss knee issues. Coming back out of break, we're going to talk about messages to my younger self with my bud, Mike Shingles. Okay, so I got to make a note to cut out segment 3, 4. Or break out. Okay, no problem. All right, man. This is where if you want to have any of the Sparrow links, Mike, your email, your phone number, whatever you prefer, if anything, you kind of know the drill. You've done this with me before. If you want to promote the hospital or your team, I'll throw it to you. Is that something that you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you have that handy?
Great.
Do you have all that written in front of you?
My email address for the hospital.
The website for however the departments work or for your crew. Do you guys just go to the Sparrow website or find you that way?
It's Sparrow Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, and they can look me up on there.
Okay, just Google it.
Yeah, I can Google it.
Why don't you pull it up and have it right there so you can give a.
Yeah,
and I'll
sure.
put it in the recap too. And then people can link back to that. So if you got it.
Orthopedics. Yeah,
Ready?
shoot. Sorry.
It's okay. Tell me when you got it.
Let's see. Geez. They got to do something about. How do we check out the?
You want me to
Sorry,
look it up?
I'm having a hard time getting the site.
Let me see.
When I'm there, it just doesn't tell me the. Doesn't tell me the. Sparrow.org, I guess. Probably Sparrow.org.
Yep, it is. Okay. Easy enough.
364. What's my number? 364. I don't even know my number.
Okay. That's why I always ask because I don't want to leave you hanging.
Yeah, that would be bad. 364. I think it's 8890.
364-1000 is the hospital.
But yeah, but the office, I think, is 364 8890. Here, I'm sorry.
Write it down so you have it.
I just got to confirm it. Sparrow Medical Group 364-8890. Okay.
That's why we do this little bit of prep in between. See, and we do this little recording between segments, you guys. That's how radio works. You prep your guests. You don't throw them oddball out of the blue questions.
Like their phone number.
Well, because you don't call yourself much. If people don't ask you that question, it's not at the tip of your tongue. So that's totally understandable. But because I get a lot of people, Mike, that are asking me about podcasting and how to do this to be good at this interview stuff, everybody. Don't leave your guests hanging. Make your guests sound good. Be a pro. It's about them. It's not about the host. Okay. So just keep that in mind because they're taking their time and they're giving their knowledge to us. So just food for thought. And I may just cut that little piece out and put it up as a podcast tip number 47. I've done so many tips on this stuff. Here we go. I like helping people learn. It's like so many people help me, Mike. Like you and Mike and everybody over there at the clinic, but on campus as well. Just, I mean, it's just, that's the thing about the university. We'll talk when we're not recording. Here we go. If you're a nonprofit school, church, youth group, you want to spice up a gig, hit me up. When you were over at the other place. And I'm
Hey, Tom, you're breaking up.
I got a problem here. Okay. Oh, Mitch is going to have to fix that. I had my cursor in the wrong place. I'm sorry.
No worries.
He'll catch that. Okay. Got to make him aware of that. My bad. I was talking. I moved my mouse back accidentally. Here we go. If you're a nonprofit church group, want to spice up a gig, hit me up, tom@show.com. Contact box, tell us what you're doing. It's pro bono, freebie, which means we want to help out youth groups and churches and schools and people who need to try to raise some money. Hit me up. I'll be happy to, put you in touch with people if you need to get some contacts. You got kids needed. I've helped so many people with things because so many people help me. It's all important. All right. tom@show.com. Go to the contact box. We're accepting applications for any type of assistance that we can bring to you. And I'll bring a Craig, or I'll bring a Brock, or maybe even a Doc Mike. I hit up all our local friends and we can do these things. Doc Mike Shingles is our guest today. Let's discuss knee issues. Mike, how do you want people to connect with you over at the hospital or the office? Go ahead, please.
Well, my office is over at the Ide building near Hannah Boulevard. We're on the 3rd floor. It's where my old office was, is on the 4th floor at Michigan State. So it's close to my old partners, good group of guys up there too. But myself, Dr. Scorfer, Dr. Wilcox, Dr. Dietzel, and our PAs, Amy Worthing, Stephanie Klutney, and Kate Supanowski. Alex Lapp is there, Brooke Lemon, who was at Michigan State with us. Got a great team over there. 517-364-8890 is the office number for me. If you pick option for Dr. Shingles staff, I got great staff that makes my life easier, make sure my patients get in to see me. And then sparrow.org, you can find our webpage. You can just Google Mike Shingles, DO, and you can find us that way too.
Okay, that's Doc Mike Shingles. Go over there, the Sparrow Health System. I'll put all this information in the recap so you can check all this stuff out and find it quickly and easily, because we're here to help and serve all of you. That's part of the game. All right. Our new little fun thing that we do. I've been doing the hashtag Dad Talk to on video, but the messages to my younger self, we're still doing that with my guests because I find it fascinating to hit them up during an interview. It's been really fun, because you never know where we're going to go with this. I mean, what comes into their head and what they immediately you think about. Well, if you're Mike, you're giving a message to a younger person and you want to give them some advice. You're thinking back. I framed it up that I was talking to myself because I made so many mistakes as I was growing up. What would you like, one or two things you'd like to share with yourself or younger people that didn't work out so well, but if you had to do it over again, you might avoid it? Go right ahead, please.
We could talk for an hour on that. I'll stick to medicine. Contracts. Make sure as physicians, you trust people. You think everyone's going to be forthright. We that's part of our oath, is to be honest and open with people. We tell people the truth, and you expect that you're hearing the truth from everybody. And so when you do contracts, and you're like, I don't want to ask for this or that, I don't want some pushing. You need to do those contracts because they're so important down the road to protect you as the person, the employee. Because gosh, for sure, whatever company you're working for is protecting themselves, or whatever contract you're working for, say it's building a house, they're protecting themselves. You need to protect yourself, because it can cause issues. You think that sometimes they don't work out. You make changes in life, and it shouldn't be that complicated if you want to just sort of like separate and move apart. So I would say contracts are something that you if I were to go back, I 100% guarantee that simple thing I would be much better with. I did do that, and it still didn't matter in some situations. But at the end of the day, you really want to make sure you protect yourself, because you never know what's going to. Your bosses will change 4 or 5 times over. You might be in an institution for 20 years, but you're going to have 5 or 6 different bosses. They're like roll in and roll out, and you get somebody that just decides they're going to do what they're going to do, and it can really mess up the whole situation. So I would tell my old self, the wisdom. I would do pretty much everything I did. I do the same profession. I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. I'm so privileged to be able to take care of patients and do it in a way where I can use surgical and non-surgical means to help people. I love working with people. I love all that. I loved working at Michigan State with all the athletes, high level people. I do all that over, but I would be better about making sure I protected certain things with contracts. It's just like, hey, that's not personal. I'm still not good at it. I still like, oh, okay, whatever, but you got to do that part. From a health perspective, what would I tell myself? Still tell myself, you get one body. And there's so many things that we love in life. There are a lot of, we call them vices. They're just things we enjoy. We love to drink alcohol. Some people love to smoke cigarettes. Some people love to eat. Everything in moderation, of course, because you can really mess your body up otherwise. And certainly, probably I would have liked to be, still would like to be better at taking care of myself. And I always tell my athletes, and it's hard to go back and tell your 16-year-old athlete, do you sure you want to play the season with your torn meniscus and your beat up knee? Because when you're 16, that's the most important thing in the world. And I try and explain to my patients, like, we can get you through it and we can fix things and we can push envelopes to get you back. But you need to realize the consequences of that. And I don't want to ever have a patient that when they're 50 or 60 go, I really wish I hadn't done this sport or I hadn't done that because my knees are bothering me now or my hips bother me. I hear that all the time from older patients where, our residents in orthopedics, they played football or whatnot. They're like, I wish I hadn't played. They flat out wish they hadn't played. And so with my athletes, I always say, like, you're making an adult decision that you're going to live with for the rest of your life, not good or bad, but you got to be okay with that. Is this worth 20 years from now if you're, limping around because of your arthritic knee, because you wanted to play with a injured knee despite sort of medical advice? That 6-year-old may not listen to your future self and may not listen to their parents and may not listen to to you as a physician, but they need to hear, all right, well, here's the consequences. It's not on this. It's been done before. People play through it, but just don't make this decision, live with it, own up to it. And I think most of them do. If they make that decision, I think that later in life, like, hey, I made that decision. I knew that this, it's not like it's the worst thing in the world. We're complaining about arthritis. It's some soreness in our knees. In the big picture of life, it's not that big of a deal. It's just sort of annoying, and we got to get, we have ways to get rid of it. So I guess that would be my long answer to your very short question.
That was a very, very excellent answer. And I appreciate you going in both directions like that, because what you say is right. And here's the thing, and here's my advice to you as your friend. And I like to think of sometimes maybe a little coach to you, because we've talked about some other things and, working through, and I do that a lot with people. But you got 47 years to go minimum, you personally. All right. 100 years old. So that's a long time. And so the decisions that you're making today are going to affect the next 47 years. So what are the choices we're going to make? What are the choices? And I have that little equation that I may have shared with you. I'm going to repeat it again. Because I love it so much. I even had a student help me kind of clarify it a little different. Choice plus challenge equals change. So you make the choice. It's depending on the challenge is the level of the change, and that they're directly proportional. The student that I met, she suggested choice plus channel equals change. And they really do fit very nicely together, because what you were just saying is, hey, outcomes and clear expectations. So choice plus challenge equals change. And so just keep that in mind, everybody. That's some very, very good information, very good thinking. And that's going to be a great message. So thank you, Mike. That was wonderful. So I appreciate that. We got about 3 minutes to go before we got to wrap everything. And I'm going to give you a chance to do a long takeaway on the arthritis thing and give people tips, because this is a great opportunity for people to hear from you. You're one of the most renowned orthopedic surgeons around. You've treated some of the finest athletes in the country, in the world. men and women. You've seen it all. And so please take the next 2.5 minutes and just leave the world with a little more knowledge on this very, very important topic of arthritis and what the people need to know about this.
Well, that's where I would say that, just to touch base on your, the halftime of 100-yard, 100 year life in your 50s. I mean, we all feel younger than we think. We all feel, you hear that all the time. I feel younger. I've seen in my lifetime, when I first started in orthopedics, 65-year-olds that looked like we called it, they did not look like they had quality of life, sitting in the hospital dying. 65, 70-year-olds. People are living healthy, active lives. I see more 100-year-old patients walking to my sports medicine clinic than, it's amazing. Once a week, these people are active people. And if you take care of yourself, then you can have that longevity. But if you have diabetes, if you smoke, if you do certain things, you're not going to live to 100. And unfortunately, if you cheat the system and you don't listen to your doc about your blood sugar or your diet and all those things, it eventually is going to catch up with you, and you're going to get things like diabetes or, liver disease or whatnot. And you're not going to have that quality of life. You won't be able to squeak it. You won't be able to change some of those things. So you really, need to listen to your primary care physician. And if you get those things, then you got to really get serious about it, because you pushed it to the end. You can't just live with diabetes and not take care of it, or you will have bad results. But when you're young, you can make good choices to help prevent the diabetes in the first place, help keep the weight down, help keep active. So I love I use that all the time with my patients. I go, it's halftime. It's your 50. You got a lot of years on this planet. Your knees are shot. So we got to figure this out, because you don't want to live with sore knees, but we want to push off that knee replacement as long as we can. We want to do certain things. And if you do certain things, you're usually successful with it.
He's Doc Mike Shingles. Love having him. We're going to have him back more. Glad that we caught up with him. If our show fits your group or business, we want to be of service to you through all of our topics. Thank you all so much for just keeping us on the air for going on 13 seasons now. I appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate seeing you and talking to you. It's great. And we'll continue the conversation off here in just a second here. Always remember, before you can share love with others, everybody, you gotta love yourself first. And no question about it. Go check out our website. That's where you can get the channel to all the channels. Just go to the website and you'll be good to go. Again, thanks to Doc Mike Shingles. We got Brock Fletcher, Craig Stiles, Samantha Medved, Sandy Man, of course, the man, the legend, Mitch Anderson. Have a great day, everybody. Tom Matt Show's production of Boomers Rock Radio. We want to bring your story to life. Thank you so much. Go all great. People will have no idea what that just meant.
No idea.
Well, I told you, I told you, maybe you remember, my dad was born in Augrey. I know Augrey really well. I know pretty much exactly where your house is, because
you have to come visit with me, Tom.
I know. And the thing is like, we go this way now so much. It's
I
like,
know.
we got to make but it's just,
you're in grandparent mode.
We are not kind of, sort of, but because we have both houses and we've maintained the presence at the university. I mean, I'm training hard at the university, and since I refired from the university, Mike, it took me a couple months to kind of get my timing back, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday at I'm West. Those are I go really hard. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are kind of like an active rest day out there, but I still go out there and do the thing. On the weekends, I'm home doing whatever. Sandy and I are doing stuff together. Gets me out of the house, gets her out of her hair early morning. But I'm putting in, and because I'm just being really, really diligent and slow about this, 2.5, 3 hours. But that's part of my work day. So my work day starts at 7 at I'm West, and depending on the day, just crushing it. And it's been a really good mindset for me. And again, I had to come up with those decisions, man. I had to say, dude, you're carrying 20 to 25 pounds too much, and quit bitching about this knee thing until you fix your own shit. And so that I had to do. Then I started looking around at this knees over toes guy on YouTube and started doing some of their exercises. And then the light bulb went off in my head that you've had it wrong all along. It's actually, like I said, from the foot up, from the ankle up, it's the calves that are causing a problem with the ankles, which is going to the knee. And so, and I'm so glad I had you coming on. It's like, man, I'm going to talk to you about this stuff because it's working. And it's like, okay, but like you said, everybody's different, right?
Yeah, when you put the time into it, you're gonna find something that works for you.
Right. Exactly.
Usually,
So,
sometimes you don't, you get the knee replacement, but you manage to put it off for at least 2, 3 years. Every year's bonus, right?
right. Exactly. I mean, it's like, I was convinced 2 years ago I had to do it. And it was just, and you were like, nope.
Just your activity level.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And you
Well, the thing is like, I have my Celebrex prescription from you, and it's very effective. It's very, very effective, but I don't want to take it all the time. And it's, you know what? It's more effective when I don't take it all the time.
yeah.
So of
And
course,
also, I told you this, hopefully. Take it before you piss off your body.
right, right, right.
Especially with the ibuprofen, motion, those, like, for example, golf. I'm gonna golf and I'm gonna be sore as shit because I haven't golfed. If you take 400 of Motrin, 800 Motrin, you're not gonna hurt it during golf because it shuts down the inflammatory response. What bothers people with arthritis is they have an inflammatory response to the arthritis. The body's trying to heal it by increasing blood flow, sending all these inflammatory products to the knee. That anti-inflammatory stops it. But if you stop it before it starts, it stops the fire alarm. It's like, don't bother coming. So because NSAIDs are not, all these medications, Celebrex is safer than a lot of them, but they're all have potential complications, meds as we get older. So you want to maximize it, take it when you need it, but if you strategically take, you can take less.
So that's a good point. See, I didn't know that. So what I should do is, if I'm going to tailor my week around it, I know my heavy days. I know my big,
Mhm.
and another thing that I found too, I was never very good at the rower at the gym. And it's because my form and posture, my hips were too fucked up. And so once I got my hips squared away, and I put some time into it, I finally just said, I want to get better at this. That's been a really, really good machine for me. It's brand new. I never liked it. I never did it. And so it's like, it's been very helpful. So now I'm working on my 5,000 meter time. I looked it up and I'm keeping track of my time through the summer. And I'm trying to get down to about, if I can get to 22 minutes on a 5,000, that's for me, that's pretty good. I mean, they say elite is like 20 for my age group. So if I get to 22, I'm happy with that. I'm at 23 and change now, and it started at about 26. So, and then on slow days, I'm doing 32, but I'm getting 5,000 meters. The thing is that motion with and it just, when I get off that thing, I feel like I got brand new legs. And then the other thing too, is that what I read is the rowing, and you probably treated rowers, they say 60% is legs. Is that right?
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Did you treat rowers?
I did, but I'd see them. I mean, rowers, some overuse kind of stuff, and they would get hurt by getting hit by the boat. Like,
Oh,
they break things, dropping the boat, hitting the boat. Like,
I got you.
I didn't see a ton of rowers for other things. And
Uh-huh.
I know I learned a lot from working at Michigan State for 22 years with all the different sports. It's tremendous for me because I got to see what common injuries you get with all these different sports.
Yeah.
But with rowing, I wouldn't,
So that's a good thing. So they're not getting hurt doing the exercise. So that's what I was kind of hoping to hear. Did you know Matt Weiss very well?
Matt Weiss,
Yeah. He was the coach. He was the rowing coach.
was he? No, I knew, no, I didn't.
Okay. Anyways, he had a few years ago, some stuff came down. I'm not exactly sure what. The situation was sometimes when people part with the university, but he went out to California with his family. I coached his daughter in softball when she was like 7 or 8. And so nice family. They go out to California. And he's at Cal Poly. What just won the Division II national championship.
Good for him.
Like, go, Matt. You know, good guy.
You know,
Just,
the coaches, the coaches at Michigan State, I don't know any of them anymore.
yeah,
I've been gone for 2 years. So you get Stacy with golf. She's up here at All Grace. Her and her husband bought the golf course up here.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's been there for I think 16 to 20 years. She's got 16 NCAA tournament appearances. She's got I don't know how many Big Ten. She's like as decorated as Izzo. And then Izzo, other than that, I don't think anyone's been there for more than 3 years. And all the football, I mean, I was there with Tucker for a year. Was it 2 years or 1 year? I think 1 year I worked with him. His whole staff, and then the whole staff, there's nobody that we spent time with. Like if you were in the sidelines, there literally maybe I know a handful of people that entire.
I would not see part of my job, like with you, is I needed to know all of the coaches and their managers because I needed to know who I was listening to when I was monitoring those guys for problems. Because that's what I did is I monitored the offense and defense. If we were on offense, I'm listening to offense and I'm flipping back to defense occasionally, but I'm trying to see, you know, who's having problems. Usually when we have the ball, I'm monitoring those guys. And then the head coach, of course, he's always on. So you got to know those guys. You got to know their voice. You got to know who they are. You got to know their managers. I don't know any of those guys. I mean, I've been down there. I was down there last year. I don't, you know, it's just fun just to be a fan. I like,
yeah, I'm a
some,
fan. I'm a huge Michigan State fan. I'm a huge Tom Izzo fan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm a huge D'Antonio.
Hey, let's get together for, what are you doing for that home opener on Friday night? You going to a tailgate somewhere?
For football.
Yeah. Cause I think that
I don't normally, I haven't been to a football game since I left.
Oh, really?
Went to all the basketball games. Huh?
Like
I got tickets. I ended up buying 2 tickets for my boys because all my kids have gone there. Are going there. I got 2 going there now. It's weird, you know, it's weird. Part of it's like I got my weekends in the fall.
Yeah.
And I spent 21 years on a football field. And it's for me, it's like being there was it was important to me. It was a big deal. Being on the field, being part of it, right? It's a job, but you're part of a bigger picture. You're the support staff. So it would hurt to miss a game, right? It would, you know, I just share later on as my partners. I had to share games and we had to take, you know, I would have gone to all of them. I think any of us would have loved to go on all, but you got to share. And I have my cottage. I got this great room that overlooks the lake and it's got a TV in there. And I'm gonna watch every fucking home game up north, and it will lose like last. And plus, we're not very good. I hate to say it. This is not recorded. Is this recorded?
This is recorded.
All right.
We can talk off air, but you know, you're right. I don't think we're gonna have a very good season this year.
We're gonna
lost too many players, and I don't see the recruiting. And that's just being straight up. I mean, we're just fans, and it's like I want them to be good. I'm a season ticket holder. You're a season ticket holder, so
yeah. So I've lost my basketball tickets this year because I got them because it was Team Doc lower bowl tickets.
Oh,
I got them for 1 extra year, so I had them this year. I don't think it went over very well, but I'm not gonna have them next year because I renewed them, right?
Yeah.
So they were great. They were great too.
Hey, are you available? Can I call you back here in about 15 minutes? I got to do a little production work. Can I call you back?
Can we talk tomorrow? Because I got like 4.
It's a good time. I'll just call you on the phone and I just got to, I got to talk to you about a couple things.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy.
What time? Afternoon?
I'll be at the phone in probably 15 minutes.
You want me to call today?
Tomorrow would probably be better. Tomorrow around this time tomorrow.
Okay. I'll give you a call tomorrow afternoon. We can just chat. That'd be cool. Thanks, man.
All right. Good to see you. Bye.
All right. See you. Bye. Waiting for Mike to drop off so I can finish.
Here's Lee. There you go. All right, bud. See you later. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Bye.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. See you, man.
Trying to leave, buddy. Leave meeting. Okay.
We all have tech issues. that guy is, let me tell you something right now. I'm going to cut that third segment out because that's the part that I wanted to put with my exercise stuff for you guys. And so you can really put together what I've learned from Mike and what as a trainer and as my thick-headed self couldn't figure out, the lower to the higher to lower from lower to higher. You'll see, I'll talk about it in the video when I do my little voiceover thing. So thanks to Mike Shingles for coming on and sharing all this. He is a awesome doc. So bookmark this one, because if you're got kids or you're got growing older, which we hope we all are, you need these people. Thanks, everybody. Love you all. Thank you so much for watching, listening, doing all those cool things. Peace out. Have a great day.